When Scarlett Hayes was 18, her parents handed her a wrinkled $20 bill and told her she didn't deserve the future her sister deserved. It happened in the rain, outside their small white house in Maple Springs. Her father's voice was hard. Your sister Claire needs that tuition more than you. Be responsible. Her mother avoided her eyes as she placed the money in Scarlett's hand. Be independent, she whispered, as if the words were kindness. The door shut behind them with a soft, final click that felt like the world was sealing her fate. Scarlett stood soaked, shivering, her single suitcase resting by her leg. The porch light above her flickered, and she thought, even the house is giving up on me. In the window, Claire's silhouette appeared for a moment but didn't move. No wave. No goodbye. Scarlett whispered. I mattered too, didn't I? But no answer came. Only rain. Scarlett walked through the wet streets until she reached the old bus stop near Miller Road. She sat on the cold metal bench, hugging her jacket. She pulled out the acceptance letter from Lakeshore University and stared at the smudged ink. I actually made it, she whispered. She imagined showing the letter to her parents again. Imagined a different reaction. Maybe her father would smile. Maybe her mother would hug her the way she hugged Claire. Instead, she remembered the scene. Her father lowering his newspaper just long enough to say, we can't pay for 2 tuitions. Her mother sorting bills like they were more fragile than her daughter. Claire chewing her lip and muttering, you're overreacting. Scarlett wiped her face, unsure if it was rain or tears. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks I'm worth something, she thought. The streetlights buzzed above, flickering like they wanted to go out too. She whispered into the emptiness, I'll find a way. 3 nights passed with Scarlett sleeping at the bus stop. She tried to stretch the $20 bill, buying only crackers and water from the gas station. Her body grew weak, her chest tight, her head hot. By the 3rd night, she was shivering uncontrollably. A truck rolled into the nearby cafe parking lot, and a man stepped out, a tired-looking driver with gray hair and gentle eyes. Hey, he called, noticing her hunched form. You okay out here? Scarlett tried to answer, but her voice broke into a cough. The man hurried closer. My name's Daniel Reed, he said softly. You look sick. Let me call someone. She tried to say no, but he had already dialed 911. He took off his jacket and placed it over her shoulders. Hang in there, kid, he murmured. No one should be freezing alone. For the first time in days, she didn't feel invisible. The hospital lights were too bright when Scarlett opened her eyes again. A nurse smiled gently as she placed a wristband around Scarlett's arm. Name? Scarlett Hayes, she croaked. Address? Scarlett hesitated. The nurse waited, stylus in hand. Scarlett looked down. I don't have one. The nurse scribbled unknown. That single word hit her like a punch. Unknown. As if she were a stray object rather than a person with dreams and history. Later, when she woke again, a small cup of orange juice sat on her tray. Beneath it was a folded $20 bill. The nurse said, the truck driver left it for you. He said you'd need it more than he does. Scarlett held the bill tightly. She whispered, thank you, Daniel, even though he wasn't there to hear her. 2 days later, Scarlett was discharged with a thin pamphlet labeled Haven House Women's Shelter. She walked there slowly, leaning against buildings when the dizziness grew too strong. Haven House stood between a laundromat and a pawn shop, its sign flickering like everything else in that part of town. Inside, a woman with short curls and a steady voice greeted her. I'm Ruth Nolan, she said. We have 1 bed. 1 lock. 1 chance. Can you work with that? Scarlett nodded. Yes. Ruth studied her for a long moment, then said, good. We believe in rebuilding here, not pity. Scarlett's bed was small, the room shared, the air faintly smelling of bleach. But it was the first safe place she had been in days. That night, she lay awake listening to the sound of quiet breathing from the other women. For the first time since the rain, she allowed herself to hope. Life at Haven House was strict but fair. Scarlett cleaned bathrooms, folded sheets, mopped floors, and washed dishes. The work cracked her hands, but she never complained. Ruth watched her closely and one morning said, You're a quiet one, Scarlett, but you work like someone who knows what's at stake. Scarlett nodded. I don't want to waste the chance. On the notice board near the kitchen, job flyers were pinned. Most were old or torn. One afternoon, Ruth came out of her office holding a handwritten note. This is new, she said. Alvarez's diner needs help. 5th and Pine. The simple handwriting made Scarlett pause. Maybe this is it, she thought. She walked there the next morning in borrowed shoes, her stomach tight with nerves. The diner smelled like old coffee and sizzling bacon. Behind the counter stood a woman wiping a pan with practiced speed. "You looking for work?" she asked without turning around. "Yes," Scarlett replied. The woman finally faced her, sharp eyes, messy bun, tired apron. "I'm Elena Alvarez," she said. "Ever waited tables?" "No," Scarlett admitted, "but I learn fast." Elena tossed her an apron. "Start with the syrup bottles. If you last the week, I'll pay you." Scarlett blinked. "That's it." Elena shrugged. "Simple rules. Simple job. Don't break anything." Scarlett put on the apron, her hands shaking slightly. She whispered, "Thank you." But Elena was already yelling at the cook, "Burn the toast again and you're washing dishes till midnight." Scarlett's first week was chaos. Orders mixed up, customers tapping impatiently, plates clattering, and Elena yelling instructions like a drill sergeant. But Scarlett noticed things others didn't. Which customers ordered the same meal every morning? Which tables needed extra napkins? Which supplies always ran out first? One night after closing, she reorganized the condiments by expiry date and wrote notes in a small notebook she kept in her apron. When Elena found the notebook the next morning, she raised an eyebrow. "You made this?" Scarlett nodded nervously. Elena flipped through the pages. "Heh," she muttered, then slid the notebook back. "Keep thinking like that. Chaos doesn't run itself." Scarlett felt something warm bloom in her chest. Respect. A delivery driver named Ben Carter began dropping off supplies twice a week. He watched Scarlett sorting the crates one morning. "You always organize them like that?" he asked. Scarlett shrugged. "Makes it easier later." Ben smiled. "You've got a head for systems." It was the first genuine compliment she'd heard in years. Later that week, his truck broke down, and Scarlett helped reschedule all the week's deliveries by calling every supplier listed in Elena's old binder. Everything arrived on time. Ben whistled. "You're like a human GPS." Scarlett laughed, a real laugh she hadn't heard from herself in a long time. That night, she stayed late sketching a full delivery plan on napkins. Months passed. Scarlett learned the rhythms of the diner and the patterns of the city. She used the shelter's old computer to build spreadsheets that tracked inventory, delivery times, and supplier habits. When a logistics company called Northline Freight posted an opening for a clerk, Ben handed her the flyer. "You be perfect," he said. Scarlett hesitated. "They'll want someone with a degree." Ben shook his head. "Try anyway. You've got the mind for it." She applied. During the interview, the manager asked, "Why should we choose you?" Scarlett answered honestly, "Because I see problems before they happen." The manager looked thoughtful. "No degree," he shrugged. "But instinct matters." "You're hired." Scarlett walked out of the building whispering, "This is the start." Working at Northline Freight changed Scarlett's life. She learned how to track shipments, organize routes, handle delays, and communicate with clients under pressure. She worked harder than anyone, often staying late to fix mistakes before morning. Her manager, Mr. Collins, noticed. "You think like a leader," he told her once as he reviewed her reports. Scarlett smiled shyly. "I just don't want things to fall apart." He nodded. "They don't. Because of you." One evening, he found her building a new workflow map on a whiteboard. "That's not your job," he said. Scarlett stepped back, embarrassed. "Sorry, I thought it might help." Mr. Collins studied the board. "It does. In fact, want a promotion?" Scarlett stared at him, speechless. "Me?" "Yes," he said, smiling. "You've earned it." For the first time in her life, someone chose her not because they had to, but because she proved she mattered. By the time Scarlett turned 23, she had saved enough money to start her own company. It began in a small rented office above a print shop. She named it Hayes Operations Group, a consulting business that helped small companies work more efficiently. She bought a second-hand laptop, a cheap desk, and a whiteboard that squeaked whenever she wrote on it. But she believed in the dream. Every client she helped recommended her to another. Soon, she hired an assistant, then a second, then a whole team. Her name started appearing in local business newspapers. People said she had a gift for turning chaos into order. Scarlett often worked late into the night, staring at the framed items on her wall. the hospital wristband, the diner notebook, and the wrinkled $20 bill. This is where it all began, she told herself. And where it ends differently. One rainy morning, her HR manager, Lydia, walked into her office holding a tablet. "We have a very strong applicant for the operations coordinator job," Lydia said. 3 years of PR logistics experience.
Scarlett nodded.
"What's the name?"
Lydia paused.
"Claire Hayes." The name crashed into the room like a wave.
Scarlett froze. Claire.
The sister who watched her walk away in the rain without saying goodbye. "Schedule her interview," Scarlett said calmly.
Lydia blinked.
"Are you sure?" Scarlett looked at the old $20 bill on the wall and whispered, "Yes. I'm sure." The rain pattered softly on the window as she prepared herself for a meeting she once never thought possible. On Tuesday, Claire arrived exactly at 9 a.m., heels tapping on the shiny floor. She stepped into the office looking polished, confident, her hair pinned neatly.
She smiled politely.
"Good morning."
Scarlett nodded. "Good morning.
"Please have a seat."
Claire sat without recognition at first. Lydia introduced them.
"This is Ms. Scarlett Hayes, CEO."
The name hit Claire like a spark. Her eyes widened.
Her breath hitched.
"Scarlett," she whispered.
Scarlett kept her tone professional. "We're here to talk about your qualifications."
Claire swallowed hard.
We thought you disappeared."
Scarlett gently shook her head. "No.
"I rebuilt." Claire's eyes filled with tears.
I didn't stop them."
"I should have spoken up." Scarlett replied. "You didn't have to speak.
Your silence was enough." Claire bowed her head, the weight of years showing in her trembling hands.
To Claire's credit, she answered every interview question honestly. She talked about her experience, her mistakes, and her desire to start over. When Scarlett asked, "What does fairness mean to you?"
Claire paused.
Then she whispered, "It means giving everyone a chance, even the people we hurt."
Scarlett leaned back in her chair. She didn't speak for a long moment. Claire's voice broke.
"Are you going to hire me?" Scarlett looked at Claire's resume, then met her eyes. "That depends," she said softly. "Can you work under someone who finally chose herself?"
Claire wiped her tears. "I can. And I'll try to be better this time." Scarlett nodded slowly. "Good."
When Claire left the room, Lydia returned.
"So?
Your decision." Scarlett looked at the window as rain streaked down the glass. She remembered the bus stop bench, the cold metal, the $20 bill, the pneumonia, the shelter, the diner, the whiteboard.
"Give her the job," Scarlett said quietly. Lydia blinked. "All right.
I'll send her the offer." Scarlett added, "But make sure she starts at the bottom, like everyone else."
Lydia smiled. "Of course."
Scarlett whispered, "Everyone deserves a fair chance, even the ones who once denied you one." That night, Scarlett stood by her window watching the rain fall. The city lights blurred into gold streaks. For the first time in years, she felt something settle inside her, not forgiveness, not anger, just peace. The next morning, Claire arrived early, holding a notebook and wearing a nervous smile. When Scarlett walked past, Claire stopped her.
"Thank you," she said quietly.
"For giving me a chance."
Scarlett nodded.
"Earn it," she replied, not unkindly. Throughout the day, Scarlett watched Claire ask questions, take notes, and work without pride. Something loosened in Scarlett's chest, a knot she'd carried since she was 18.
She wasn't replacing the past. She was letting it stop controlling her.
That evening, she looked again at the framed reminders on her wall.
The wristband.
The 20. The company logo between them. "I paid the price," she whispered. "And I built the return." That weekend, Scarlett drove back to Maple Springs for the first time since the night she left. The town looked smaller than she remembered.
The streets narrower. The houses older.
But the bus stop was still there, the same dented bench, the same flickering street lamp. She touched the cold metal and felt a memory rise like breath. She placed a small bouquet on the bench, then set the framed $20 bill beside it. "This is where you ended me," she whispered, "and where I began."
The air smelled like wet pavement.
The sky hummed with soft rain. Scarlett stood there quietly, no longer waiting for her parents to appear or apologize.
That part of her life was over.
On her way back to her car, Scarlett saw an elderly woman watching her from across the street. It was Mrs. Linton, their former neighbor.
She waved.
Scarlett, is that you?
Scarlett smiled.
Yes. Mrs. Linton hurried over. Your parents, they always thought you'd come back.
Scarlett shook her head gently.
People can wait for things they never earned.
Mrs. Linton touched her arm.
I'm proud of you, dear. You built your own life.
Scarlett nodded, her chest warming. Thank you.
As she got into her car, she didn't look back.
The past no longer demanded her attention. The road ahead was clear.
Scarlett returned to her office Monday morning with sunlight spilling through the windows. Claire was already there, sorting documents with quiet focus. Scarlett walked to her desk, sat down, and opened her laptop. Her company buzzed with life, phones ringing, keyboards clicking, people doing meaningful work. She looked once more at the empty spot on her wall where the $20 frame used to hang.
She'd left it behind intentionally. She didn't need a reminder anymore.
She whispered to herself, the debt is paid. The story is complete. Then she smiled, calm, steady, and finally whole. Scarlett Hayes had built her future with her own hands, and nothing, past or present, could ever take it from her again.